area, close area. Because this don't lose. Or you come here because to eat pizza and pasta. No, sorry. You must eat pizza, pasta, and you see the story of Rome.
All right, well, you've
Yes,
heard
no.
it here
Sorry?
from the expert.
Yes.
He's told us.
Yes, sure. You understand what I mean? He must see Vatican City. He come here, just eat ice cream? No. And pizza? No.
After 4 days in Venice, we returned by high-speed train to Rome, checking in to a 2-bedroom Airbnb just steps from the Tiber River and a 10-minute walk to the Spanish Steps. This would be our home for the next 4 days. Once we were all unpacked, we ventured out for the evening, taking that 10-minute walk over to the Spanish Steps. There's something just really magical about seeing with your own eyes places that you've dreamed about being. Then, we backtracked to stroll along the Tiber River. As the sun set, we passed the Palace of Justice, one of the grandest of the new buildings which followed the proclamation of Rome as the capital city of what was then called the Kingdom of Italy. We then continued on to the Piazza Navona to marvel at the fountains and, frankly, people watch. Commissioned in 86 AD by Emperor Domitian, it is an elongated shape because its original function was as a stadium for athletic events. This included being flooded in the summer months for water games. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the stands that held those 20,000 spectators were replaced with the buildings that surround it now. Eventually, the day's travel got to us and we decided to end it with a really nice dinner at Santa Pupa Trattoria Romana right there in the piazza. We then headed back to the apartment for a good night's sleep, excited about our first full day. Day 2 was our first full day, and we just walked around the corner for a bit of coffee and pastries before joining the big red bus to see the sights. We'll typically walk 5, 8, 10 miles a day on our adventures, but when we're in a city that has a big red bus, we always take advantage of it. The reason why is that it's a very convenient way, because of its stops and the hop-on hop-off service, to get a good lay of the land and from there decide where we want to focus the rest of our time in a city.
So,
If you want to go inside, you are leaving school.
a lot of excited people here, but we just finished 2 hours on the bus. What do you think of that?
It was a very good tour on the bus, but somehow I missed our stop, so.
But we've made the entire trip. So now we kind of have a sense of where we're at, where we want to focus our time. And we're going to go back over now and
Go to the Capitol building.
go to the Capitol building.
After the tour, we grabbed a bite to eat and then continued touring the city, this time using our own 2 feet.
So there's one window in the apartment that doesn't have room darkening shades, and it happens to be in the bedroom that we're in, which I'm okay with. But for the queen, she requires total darkness and, what I've learned, total silence. So we've had a morning Americano and cappuccino, which, did you realize this morning I had the Americano and you had the cappuccino, and in all of Venice you had the Americano and I had the cappuccino? I know, it's a sign.
We found Rome to be very walkable, with history literally around every corner. We stopped at the Pantheon, and we had the intention of going inside, but there was a demonstration going on, so we just admired it from outside. Eventually, we made our way over to the Trevi Fountain.
You want me to throw the coin?
Yep.
Huh? Ready? Here it goes.
Well, we made it to Trevi Fountain, and if we're wondering where all the the tourists were in Italy, this is where they're at. So yeah, we found everybody. So they're not lost anymore.
For dinner, we spoiled ourselves with reservations at Alfredo alla Scrofa, the birthplace of the original fettuccine Alfredo. It's made tableside, marrying the fresh homemade pasta, butter, and Parmesan cheese in what was just beautiful to look at and delicious to enjoy. Our third day in Rome was a Sunday, the one day of the week that the Porta Portese market is open. We were assured that we would get lost by ourselves, so we were fortunate to have Deborah as our Airbnb experiences guide. Porta Portese is the biggest market in Rome, an institution in the city where you can experience a unique side of the Roman life. You can find almost anything here: clothes, new and old furnishings, bikes, tools, old cameras, posters, books, stamps. It is so big that it's divided into different areas. It was hard to find a favorite one, but if you're willing to search under mountains of old clothes and objects, you're sure to find something nice and unique. That evening, we had pizza for dinner, which was phenomenal, and relaxed at Trepitoso 33, playing, you guessed it, Scrabble, until the wee hours of the next morning.
The sky is like watercolors, isn't it?
On our fourth and last full day, we toured the Colosseum and gardens. It was such a rich and full experience, we've actually saved that for another video. But here's a glimpse of some of the things that we saw. Afterwards, we walked up Aventine Hill to stand in line to look through the Aventine keyhole. Behind a nondescript green door at the end of a cul-de-sac is a well-framed but really tiny view of two nation-states of one country. They're lined up perfectly with the garden, centered on the Vatican in the distance, with the Dome of St. Peter's perfectly situated in the center. No one seems to be able to say with all certainty whether this was just a beautifully planned peep show or just a lucky coincidence. We had lunch, which included our first taste of cacio e pepe. We watched a bank employee disinfect the ATM and continued touring the history of Rome. We were still marveling at, beyond the Colosseum and the Pantheon, just how much you can just see just walking across the streets and the various alleyways of Rome. It was just incredible. We rewarded ourselves with pizza for dinner that evening. Then, with our ever-trusty Scrabble board in hand, we hung out at La Botticello. Our Italy trip had been delayed for over a year, as we waited out the pandemic to a time where Italy was welcoming visitors again and we felt it was safe to travel. Everything we had hoped this adventure would be, it was. And we can't wait to come back. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and be sure to follow and subscribe to get notified when we post our next videos. Thank you for watching.